there has been an important development in Indian military aviation. The French have submitted a commercial and technical bid to India for making another 114 Rafale jets for the Indian Air Force. Now, this is important in several terms. I'll take you through the program. India already flies 36 Rafale jets. I mean, the Indian Air Force flies 36 Rafale jets, and they are part of the inventory already. The Indian Navy has ordered the 26 of the Rafale marine versions. Those are separate from the Indian Air Force fleet. However, coming back to the 114 Rafale jets, sources tell me that the French have submitted a bid, which is a detailed bid. The commercial details are not yet out or disclosed. The figures being bandied about at the moment in social media are no more than estimations. So the commercial bid is not yet open, so the figure what the French have quoted is not yet known. However, this figure, even after the negotiations will start to come out at a rounded figure for France partly making the Rafale jet in India. France is scheduled to make around 96 of these Rafale jets in India with an Indian partner. It is also has been told to us that Rafale will be supplying the data codes, and also by data codes I don't mean the source code, I mean data connections of the Rafale jets to mate it with Indian systems down on the ground. Also, Rafale or the Dassault Aviation, the maker of Rafale, will integrate Indian air-to-air missiles like the Astra and also make some of the parts in India with the Indian partner. Rafale has its partners like Thales, which makes avionics, and Safran, which makes an engine. Safran already has a tie-up in India with Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, a public sector company, to make engines for helicopters. However, Safran will now be making part of the engines in India with the Rafale jets also powered by the M88 Safran engine. It is important, this development that France has submitted a bid is important because it also means that Indian Air Force, which is now facing a dwindling fleet of fighter jets, has a hope of getting a modern fighter jet. Critically, 36 Indian Rafale jets at the moment are what is called the F3R version of the Rafale. Since then, Dassault Aviation has come up with the F4 version and also promised an F5 version in the future. The F5 version was unveiled a few days ago, back a few weeks ago in Europe, and it is expected to join the French fleet in 2021 or 2031 or 2032. Now, when this comes up, India is also seeking that some of the Rafale jets be upgraded to the F4 version or the F5 version, which would be having better avionics, better radars and long-range radars and capabilities to detect missiles and also to launch their own missiles, attack missiles at enemy positions in the air and on the ground. The Rafale also means that once this tender goes through of the 114 jets, would mean that India would have almost 180 Rafale jets in its fleet. That will be the biggest foreign fleet after the Russian Sukhoi and the MiG-29 collectively in the Indian arsenal. It also means that France is like a new Russia for us. That means that France is a reliable supplier like Russia, and the number of French equipment will be an all-time high after the Rafale deal is finalized. However, to put it in the right perspective, it is not that the deal is being finalized tomorrow or in the next few weeks. A cost negotiation will follow. A formal vetting of the things will be done by the Ministry of Defense, which will include a lot of experts, including the acquisition wing, the Indian Air Force. The Rafale is already flying, so we have an advantage of knowing what the Rafale is. It will also mean that the contract may be signed in a few months or probably next year. By that time, the cost negotiation is complete, and the geostrategic environment means that India wants those jets immediately. Some of the jets will come in a flyaway condition from France. The later part, around 96, as I told you at the start of the program, will be made in India with an Indian partner, with a lot of integration of Indian weapons, avionics, and also India getting the data codes to connect the Rafale jets with the Indian equipment down below for communication needs. Already, since the Rafale is here, so India already has the capacity to immediately take in around 2 squadrons, that is around 36 planes, into its fleet, because there are numbers available in the maintenance depots in Ambala and Hashimara, the 2 places where the Rafale is at the moment based. It also has the remaining supplies lines in place to taking additional 2 squadrons of Rafales any minute now. The capacity exists. India wants it immediately. France has submitted a bid, and we close this program here. With me is Tribune photographer Manas Ranjan Bhoi.